Now, people ask us all the time about the street signs inside the club.
Yeah.
And people want a street sign, okay? You've been a regular for a while? Yeah. And you probably want a street sign with your name on it, right? No, you don't. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
You don't want one, not yet. Those street signs are all, when you go in the club and you see them, they're all memories from friends of the club that passed away. And we memorialize them by putting their name up on a street sign. So sometimes people will say, I want a sign. And I say, I'd love to give you a sign. It took you a while to get that joke. So one of our favorites, can you get the sign? Can
I reach it?
Can you bring it up? So this is our very first sign ever at the club. This is Morey's Place and Buffet Way. Now, Morey, obviously, is the guy that we're honored, that's honored on that sign. And we're going to tell you a little story about Morey's funeral, because that's the only way you get a sign. Not only do you have to be a good customer, we have to go to your planting. Now, Morey came here very early on.
Right, and he came every Friday and sat for 2 shows every Friday.
Every Friday. He never missed. He was here more than we were. We would take a Friday off, and we would get a call on Monday. Where were you?
Yeah, every Friday. For years.
Years. He was, I would say, 5 years?
Probably something like that, yeah.
5, maybe longer. But whatever
know.
it was, he never missed. He would come in at 5 o'clock. The doors back then would open at 7:30 with an 8:30 show.
Yeah.
He would come at 5, be here when the staff set up. He would stay here until 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Right.
Until we all left every Friday. Now, Morey was a great guy.
He was.
But he did not have, according to him, a lot of friends. And we became his family. And he would count on us. And he would give us all kinds of trinkets. He gave us little...
well, I mean, for him, they weren't trinkets. They were... he would give us a lot of things that had with angels.
Okay, Morey also believed he could cast spells on people.
He did. He thought like he could cast like hexes on people. Like he was pissed at some woman he worked with, and so he legitimately.
And he would come in and say, "I put a hex on Joe."
Yeah, and he really felt like he put a hex on her.
Yeah. Now we're not trash talking him. We just thought it was funny. He was a chain smoker. He was a big
Well, yeah,
fella.
because back then you could smoke in the club.
Yeah.
So he would just sit and smoke, and then he would drank Coke with grenadine.
Yep. He would have the buffet.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 trips, almost fucking bankrupted us.
Right.
And then after the second show, he would order a hamburger and apple pie a la mode.
Right.
And Morey was a big guy, but he spent every single Friday with us. And then he would sit down late at night and tell us his different theories on life, and some of them were a little scary.
Some of them were a little out there.
Yeah.
Some were a little out there.
So what happened, he always told us, I have no friends, you're my only friend. And one night, not long before he passed away, we're down there at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's chain smoking. My eyes are little slits. Vicki is looking at Morey, and she could barely keep her eyes open. And I said, Morey, we got to get you to quit smoking. And he goes, who cares about smoking? A virus is going to kill the world anyway. Like, I don't give a shit about smoking. And
wow, he was a prophet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vicki's looking at him, and all of a sudden Morey goes, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah.
And Vicki's like, don't put a hex on me. So next thing you know, we get a phone call.
Yeah.
And this is after years of Morey spending a lot of time with us and telling us that he has no friends. It's his sister, who we had met exactly one time. Hey, listen, Morey passed away. And we said, okay, that's terrible, tragic. And we immediately said, we have to go to his funeral because no one's going to be there, and we can't let this man get buried by himself.
Right, no,
right.
Can't do it.
And then Morey worked at AT&T. So that morning, it's me, Vicki, our good friend Barry J., who also has his own sign hanging in the club right now. And
Lou, our bar manager, Nancy Capella.
Nancy, right.
And then
Richie
Wentz,
right.
Yeah,
And
who's
we're all
also
going
in
to go.
heaven.
And we're going to go up, and we're going to be the only people at this man's funeral because we want to honor him. And he's Jewish. We had never been to a Jewish.
Right.
Yeah, never been to a Jew. Are you Jewish? Yeah. So, when you go, we know what to do now. I'm not rushing you. I just know how to handle it. The Jews don't waste time. You drop, and people are digging a hole. It's really quick.
Yeah.
So the funeral is a Monday because he died on a Saturday, and you won't bury people, right, on a Sunday. Yeah. Nobody buries anybody on Sunday. The Catholics don't do it. What's that?
It's overtime.
It's overtime.
Yeah.
The Catholics won't do it. They don't want to cut into Sunday collection.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have to go up to a Monday morning burial at this Jewish cemetery, and we're running late. It's a rainy day, and we're driving like mad up Route 1. We've never been to a Jewish funeral. All I know is the Jews seem prompt. So it's like 5 after 1, and we're supposed to be there at 1, and I'm like, God damn it, we're late. And we pull into the cemetery, and we see a little tent, and in that tent is just the rabbi and 2 people and the body. And I go, that's got to be Morey. He's got no friends, no family. And we all pile out of our cars, and we go running up this hill, and the rabbi's already in full phlegm mode, and he's doing his thing. And we all just filter into this little rain tent, and we all kind of like shift down, and we go in. And the rabbi stops what he's doing, and he's looking at us like, what the hell are you doing? And we're all just very reverently nodding like that. And we're all standing there, and he starts up again. And while I'm looking down, I'm trying to be very serious, I look at the casket, and it doesn't say Morey Solomon. It says like Saul Auerbach. And I realize that we're in the wrong fucking... We have found the only other Jewish man in North America with no friends. And I'm like, oh, and my eyes go big as saucers. And I'm like, oh my God. And Barry J had the sickest, best sense of humor, is next to me, and he goes, what's wrong? And I'm trying to be very discreet, but I have to get us the fuck out of this funeral. So I lean over to Barry and I go, that's not Morey. That's not Morey. And Barry goes, what? I go, that's not Morey. And Barry can't hear me, and Vicki is like, what are you doing? And I nudge Barry, and I go like this. And Barry and I go outside the little canvas tent.
Which is really just like this. So like speaking just like that.
It's nothing. There's no sound barrier. It's just a rain. And Barry goes, what's wrong? I go, that's not Morey. We're at the wrong goddamn funeral. And Barry J finds this to be the funniest thing ever. And he goes, ah! And he runs down the hill. Okay? He runs away. And now I got to go back into the funeral and get the rest of the crew. And I walk back in. And now everything is stopped. And they're staring at me. And I walk in and I lean over. And Vicki's like, what the fuck? And I lean over. I go, that's not Morey. And Vicki goes, what? That's not Morey. Look at the name. And Vicki looks at the name. And then she leans over. And we all get the message it's not Morey. And then collectively, we all did this. And we walked out of that little tent. And we ran down the hill, howling, laughing. Forever leaving these people wondering who busted into their funeral. Now, I figure, well, that's it. We missed Morey's funeral, and we start driving out of the cemetery. We're like, well, we tried.
Right.
We gave it, and all of a sudden, Vicki sees this enormous funeral. It's just the biggest funeral I've ever seen. Car after car after car. And she goes, hey, that's Morey's sister, right?
Yeah, she was in the procession.
She's in the procession. And so we follow, and we get to Morey's actual funeral, and there's how many people?
Oh, it was packed. It was packed.
Sold out.
Yeah, it was sold out. And we thought, we're standing there, and we said, were all these years a lie? Like,
yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, Vicki's like, he lied to us for all these years, telling us he has no friends and family. This is like a state funeral.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know how at the Jewish funeral they put the dirt on you. Okay, these people, I don't know if some of you African American black people, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but some of you don't know if you've never been to a Jewish funeral, okay, unless you went to Sammy's and Sammy Davis Jr. Okay, anyway. So what the Jews do to save money is everybody throws a little dirt in. They have to pay a guy to shovel, and they're like, ah! And
they're having full conversations while they're doing it. Like, yeah, what are you doing later? Yeah. So I'm like, what is going on?
So I'm intrigued, and I say to somebody, hey, I go, were you good friends at Morey? And he goes, who? I go, Morey, were you good friends at Morey? He goes, who's Morey? I go, the guy you just threw dirt on. And he goes, oh, no, we didn't know him. I go, Did anybody here know him? Nah, we didn't know him. Go ahead, tell him why.
At AT&T, if you go to a fellow employee's funeral, you get the whole day off.
With pay. No shit. We immediately switched to Verizon and we never looked back.